Well, that naturally leads to this question. Over your experiences, are there certain truisms as to what is distracting and what is engaging and what consumers want?
Um,
Or does it vary by media? Or does it vary over time?
what I believe, and when I was at Dancer and working very closely with a woman named Beverly O'Malley, who has since passed away, but who was one of the first cable specialists. And remember, although probably not many other people do, but in the 80s, every big agency had a cable person whose responsibility was really to lobby for including cable in advertiser buys. Now it seems kind of silly, but that was the role. Um, I think back then we thought that the fact that 80% of televisions had remote control devices, oh no, this means that um, no one is ever going to be no one is ever going to watch a commercial again, because all you have to do when a commercial comes on is click a button and you're out of it, and then you come back. We honestly thought that the remote control was going to be the most critical disruption the business had ever experienced. Then we thought VCRs were going to destroy advertising, because now you could record something, you could watch it later, you could watch it without commercials. I have to laugh that just yesterday, Nielsen came out with an announcement that as of, I guess, yesterday, it was eliminating VCR recording from the ratings. And I had such a flashback, because I remember when they started including VCR recording, that it was becoming such a critical mass of ownership that they had to include VCRs in the television ratings. Well, VCRs, excuse me, that was hardly a blip. And I think each thing that comes along, and here's what I think is the biggest challenge to people's thinking, because, and maybe this is another thing that I've learned about, because I am able to look back. Every new thing that comes along, whether it's a VCR or a DVR or the internet or tablets, there will be someone out there who will predict the death of whatever came before. And it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't work that way. Now, maybe that will change in the future, but I think the most important, kind of dynamic is relevance. As long as content is relevant, consumers will find a way to stick with it. And that's the piece that, if I had one lesson to impart, it would be, stop looking for how this is going to kill this, but look for ways that the older medium or technology or whatever it is needs to evolve to make sure it stays relevant to consumers' lives, and just the way they are living, not just in the media world, but in the world at large. Beverly and I had come up with kind of a filter of choice and control, that if something met these two criterion, anything new that came along, it could probably succeed. Did it give consumers more choice in the media that they were consuming? Did it give them control over being able to manage everything they had available to them? And for a while, that worked. So if somebody came in with some new media opportunity that felt like it was really being driven by advertising rather than consumers, it probably was not something that we thought would be successful. And for a while, I think that worked. When I think back now, and especially over the last I don't know, 10 or 15 years, I would add a third C. I would add connection or community or connectivity, because everything that came before was designed to segment, to push people in siloed cable networks or websites, or something that would keep that water cooler effect from, having any impact. And the idea that now the media is all about connection, connectivity, community, bringing people together, makes you say, of course, we're still human beings. We still need something to connect around, whether it's, the finale of the Cosby Show, or it's something that a trial decision that comes along. We still need to have the conversation. Maybe conversation is part of that third C. So to me, this says that looking ahead, there will be new technologies. I spend probably half my time working on how our brands can adapt to new technologies without walking away from magazines. But I think there will be more of a focus on the content and the experience more than the platform. And I think every platform, whether it's a magazine or a television show or network, or a tablet or a smartphone, produces a different experience. So you can have the identical content, but because the experience will be different, because the situation is where you're using it is different, the whole idea of engagement, or whatever the word du jour is going to be by then, will be different. So I guess what I'm saying is that to remember, I think the best lesson I would impart is that it's not either or. When you think back, very little has been either or. And that looking ahead, consumers will still find the right platform depending on where they are, how much time they have, and who they're with. So in other words, situational media usage will become even more important going forward.